To understand how Eminem brutally destroyed Nick Cannon, we need to go back to 2001. After the success of the Marshall Mathers LP, Mariah Carey, Nick Cannon's soon-to-be wife, reached out to Eminem for a collaboration on her album Charm Bracelet. And it was thanks to this that the pair actually formed a relationship lasting around 6 months. And the reason for their breakup? Well, Eminem said that when he got to know her better, he didn't like what he got to know, saying, quote, "I just don't like her as a person. I gotta be honest. I have respect for her, but she doesn't really have it all together." And after this, the broken up couple would surprisingly fire shots back and forth at each other, with Eminem first referencing her in Superman. "You trying to be my new wife? What, you Mariah? Fly through twice." And Mariah going on to the Oprah show to deny any relationship with Eminem.
Look, I talked to him, have spoken to him a few times, whatever, but in terms of me having like an intimate relationship with men, I can name them all on one hand, and he ain't on the hand.
However, this couldn't be further from the truth, and as you'll see later in this segment, she would also diss him a few times on stage during her performances, and Eminem would fire right back, exposing voicemails from her during his performances. After a few years go by with constant back and forths, their beef would really seem settled, after Eminem would overdose on drugs and unfortunately enter rehab. But come April 2008, we are introduced to Nick Cannon in this feud, after he and Mariah Carey officially announced that they were getting married. Although unknowingly, Nick had just started a war he wanted no part of. Almost 1 year today of this marriage announcement, Eminem would release his song Bagpipes from Baghdad, where he straight up destroys the newly wedded couple's relationship. He references Nick Cannon and Mariah many times throughout the song, where Eminem is heard saying some pretty disrespectful things to both parties. In response to this, Nick Cannon would state in a now-deleted blog post, "I thought we got past the days where white men could spew vulgar obscenities at our beautiful queens and get away with it. So, Miss Marshall, I'm going to make a wish you never spoke my name and regret the ungodly things you said about my wife." But Nick Cannon did not know what he was getting himself into. A month after this, Mariah Carey released a song with disses on Eminem sprinkled without, which resulted in an absolute banger hit song called Obsessed.
I was like, why are you so obsessed with me?
But Eminem once again would take this beef a step further after he would respond with The Warning, where he spent an entire 3 minutes going in on Mariah and Nick. In this track, Eminem throws barbs at Mariah and Nick Cannon, revealing details that were perhaps better left unsaid, such as the fact when he went on to quote that he nutted early and ejaculated prematurely. In other bars, he claimed that Mariah was an alcoholic, that he flew her out to his house numerous times, and even threatened to release phone calls between the two of them, which he did partially in verse 2 of this song, where he literally played voicemails of Mariah moaning and acting very sexual towards Eminem. Fans loved this track. Although it's unofficially released, it still managed to about to get a lot more intense after Nick Cannon would release his response to this track back to Eminem, titled "I'm a Slick Rick, Eminem Diss." But this one did not go so well in Nick Cannon's favor, as the song was filled with absolutely embarrassing bars like this one.
I don't know if I should hit him 'cause he's spinning his swing. Excuse me, Eminem, why you lying on your erectile dysfunction? You wanna get him up?
Yeah, I know, that was pretty bad, but trust me, his fans let him know. He did himself with this track. He's delusional if he thought that he could even compete with Eminem's level. I refuse to believe this man listened to this and thought it was a good idea to release it. After this, the beef was basically dead, with Eminem stating in an interview that he doesn't want to keep beating a dead horse and that he was done with the whole situation. A few years later, after feeling like he lost the beef, Nick Cannon returned yet again, where he would go on to fire even more shots at Eminem. And if you haven't learned anything from this video, you would know that's a huge mistake. He would appear on Hip Hop DX to make it clear that he was ready for another war.
You know Marshall Mathers is one of the greatest, if not the greatest. If you ain't come to get it poppin', you gotta go for it. There's a reason that hip-hop was built off of healthy competition. I'm fearless. I have fearless tattoos all over my body, just in a sense where I've never been scared of another individual. The only thing I fear is God.
Yes! I beat it.